Wonderful. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. We are in Inmates to Entrepreneurs 8-week course. We are in week 2 tonight. So we're going to be talking about first steps, getting your first customer, should you have a partner, pros and cons of partnerships, things like that. I do have a couple of just really quick housekeeping notes, and then I'm going to turn the floor over to our instructors for the rest of the evening. First and foremost, if your username is showing up as something other than who you actually are, if you could either change it for me or just type your name in the chat or email me, just let me know you're here. That is how I track attendance. And I want to make sure that I actually give you attendance if you're here. So I've got a couple of like iPhones and things. Obviously your name is not iPhone. So if you could change that for me, that would be fantastic. As I mentioned, we are recording this. So tomorrow you will get a recap from me, a recap email that has this recording, the week 1 recording, any PowerPoint slides we go over, as well as any links that we may throw in the chat. So be on the lookout for that. If tomorrow, I would say by end of day tomorrow, if you don't hear from me, please reach out. I know there's a couple of emails that get bounced back. Sometimes inboxes are full. So if you don't hear from me, just let me know. And then of course, Zoom sometimes just gives people problems, and there's unfortunately nothing we can really do about it. The easiest way to troubleshoot would be to completely exit this meeting and then use that same link to log back in. I'm going to be monitoring the waiting room all night. So if you have to kind of duck out and then come back in, that's no problem. I'll be making sure to let everyone in who has to do that. Otherwise, we do have, if you were here with us last week, we do have Josh Nowak back with us. We also have Bill Carlson. So Bill and Josh, I'm making you both co-hosts now. If you could please reintroduce yourselves, and then whenever you're ready for the PowerPoint, just let me know.
I will defer to Mr. Bill Carlson because Bill is the stud in B. Yeah, comes first in the alphabet. Bill.
I'm trying to make him co-host. It's not wanting to take. Let's see if it does it now.
Says Bill is co-host now. While he's figuring this out, I am Josh Nowak. I am your friendly Inmates to Entrepreneurs instructor, as well as the co-founder of Breaking Free Industries. We are a shirt printing business based in Southern California, but more than kicking out really good swag, we give people who need a second chance jobs. So it's super duper cool. I love what I do. We're right now gearing up for winter season, where we're giving up a bunch of long sleeves and hoodies and things like that. You can find us at Breaking Free BFI on your socials. Bill, where do you at?
I am here. There we go. There was somebody had some music on. Well,
yeah, sorry, my office is all clogged up. I couldn't get an office. I'm now at Starbucks and they're blasting some tunes. So I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. Cool. I can see that. So as I was trying to mention earlier, I've had the good fortune of working with Josh and co-hosting with him, co-instructing for over a year now. My name is Bill Carlson. We have a family business, Cathodic Protection Management. I am head of the sales of that. Before this, I was an investment advisor for 25 years and had my own business, started one in 2004. And I had a little brief interruption and got to spend some time courtesy of the U.S. federal penal system. And that experience opened my eyes to wanting to help people that want to better their lives and better where they're at. That was the motivation for reaching out to Allie and Inmates to Entrepreneurs a little over 2 years ago. So Allie has heard this as Josh has. I get more out of these than I can give because you guys are amazing. So with that, let's get going.
All right. Let's have some fun here. Something also to keep in mind, I'm going to call him out because he's awesome. Jeff is joining us as a returning alum. Taking Inmates to Entrepreneurs is not just a one-time deal. It's free. So if you want to take it next time, cool. You want to take it a time after that, cool. There are some people who have literally taken this course 3 and 4 times just to hear the refresher. I teach this because repeating the lessons helps me. So if you ever want to come back, this is not meant to be a one-time only and then you're done. If you feel that this course was helpful, always feel free to come back. With that said, let's hear some amazing elevator pitches. Yeah. Who wants to go first? Not seeing any hands yet.
Susie? Oh. What's going on here? You're not,
I think
we can't hear you, Susie.
Hi, good morning. So before I attempt my elevator pitch, I don't have any social media handles. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, so hi, my name is Sister Eli. I'm co-founder of King Bishops Entertainment, LLC. We are in Waterbury, Connecticut, and we are helping entertainers find their voices and overcome oppression. So that sounds
Okay.
kind of like I need social media handles.
Well, I mean, for purposes of this elevator pitch, go ahead and make it up because why not? So that Sister Eli might work for now, and then at any time you can go ahead and put in the real ones. Yeah. So how is it that you come? How is it that you help your clients overcome? What is it that you do?
So as a part of my elevator pitch, or just like what like my business
did-
plan and everything
I-
set up.
I didn't hear it in the pitch, which is why I'm asking the question. So why don't you tell me a little bit more?
Okay, so by way of education, I'm a social worker, but because I have a felony conviction, it's very hard to find a job as a social worker. So I do a lot of like life skills, job coach, financial literacy, and just by way of young artists who are from the streets and think like being an entertainer is the only way to like make money besides being in the streets.
Okay, got it. So you may want to just follow up that we help people in the entertainment business overcome their obstacles by it just needs another half sentence.
Yes, I'd agree with Josh. It needs that, the how.
Okay. So hi, my name is Sister Eli. I'm co-founder of King Bishops Entertainment. I help entertainers overcome their obstacles by providing, you said another half sentence, I don't know, by providing support, by, I don't know, by,
You mentioned life skills. I mean, think of the roadblocks that they have and how you help them overcome those. Or think of what those roadblocks are that you're helping them overcome, Sister Eli. Does that make sense?
so by, okay, so by providing life skills in parenting and business management. I think those are the two main things that we do with them.
Yeah, you want to try to keep it as broad as you can so that you don't have people rule themselves out as potential prospects or be able to refer you. So life skills is great. Financial, would you say financial literacy?
Yes.
Trying to keep that a broad stroke, unless you want to really narrow it down to a specific niche. I mean, a real narrow niche, and that's not a bad thing. But in that elevator pitch, if you leave it broad, then you leave the opportunity for follow-up questions, and that's really what your elevator pitch is designed to do: is create follow-up questions and discussion. Josh?
Noted. Thank you.
Yeah, it just needed something else. I mean, you can even just say, hey, we teach financial literacy, we take basic coping skills, something to just kind of finish out that sentence. And yeah, perfect. Well done. Keep practicing it. Let's make
Yes.
it nice and smooth. Practice in front of your mirror, in front of your significant other, in front of your kids, your cat. I hear dogs are wonderful recipients of elevator pitches too. And then we'll hear from you next week. Let's hear from Michelle, please.
Hello.
Hi, Michelle. Oh, where'd you go?
She's muted now. There
Can you
you
hear
go.
me now?
Gotcha.
Okay, great. If you remember, my business is called Truly Restored Coaching Services. My elevator pitch is empowering and equipping you to heal and mend relationships with yourself, your family, and community through critical, vulnerable conversations and coaching.
I love it because the one thing I would do is you didn't mention the name of the company or whatever that your organization is.
Oh, she got it. She got it. It
Oh,
was
she
in
did.
there.
I'm sorry. And at the end, how do I get a hold of you, Michelle? Do you have a website, social media? So you want to include that, okay? But what I
Okay.
really liked about it is when you got done with it, I had a good idea, a very clear idea of what you do.
Okay.
And again, as I mentioned earlier with Sister Eli, the purpose of the elevator pitch is really to initiate conversation with someone. And I like the clarity, and you were very precise as to what you said.
Okay. Thank you.
Michelle, the only edit I would make is I would find, rather than use the word critical, because critical by definition means that you're criticizing someone, which could spark a negative connotation on some people and get them to clam up. We create a safe space so that you can be vulnerable, is what you did say. So create that. You're trying to create that safe space is where you're driving towards. If you need to be critical per se, you may want to use the word direct feedback.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Or supportive feedback. But I would avoid the word critical because that might be, I mean, how many times in a fit of rage and upset, you're so darn critical. You're
Yes.
such a hypocrite.
Yeah.
That the word critic, even though if you look at the dictionary, it's not really a harmful word, but it's got some negative spin to it. And I wouldn't want you to upset people. The only other thing, in addition to giving me your socials, is letting me know if you have a geographic focus.
Good point.
And
I do, but I don't. So, but you're saying I should put it in here? Because my thing is, I was thinking about this earlier today. My thing is that people can probably look at the bottom of a website page to find out the area that a business works out of. So you disagree? Your
I
suggestion?
firmly disagree.
Okay.
Because you either offer skills virtually or you're in a particular neighborhood, and that's really important. We help people in the greater Los Angeles area. Even that would be too broad. We're based out of Irvine, California. We're based out of Santa Ana, California, wherever it is that you're based, because therapy is something that you either do virtually, and that's been a thing now with Zoom, or you're doing something in the immediate neighborhood. If you are relying on somebody to check out the website to see whether or not they're going to pre-filter, you're overly ambitious. That no one's going to do that.
Okay.
So from that perspective, we offer therapeutic services to the greater, where are you based out of?
South Central Pennsylvania.
Okay, great. So would that be like Harrisburg area?
Actually, it's Lancaster, Lebanon, and Berks County.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. We talked about this last week. So you're a little further, you're a little closer to the greater Lancaster area, Amish country. Like,
Yes.
however you want to phrase it. Especially in that area, you're going to want to highlight where you are, because people are going to be like, okay, can I get to you, or do I have to go all the way out to Philly?
Okay.
Like,
So Michelle, is it in person only?
No, it's actually virtual. However, I'm also offering workshops and I can travel to these locations easily.
so then that also becomes important by saying we are for virtual counseling sessions, because that's one of those things of how do I engage with you, and how I engage with you becomes really relevant, which is why I mentioned like the general things when I talk about an elevator pitch I like to hear is tell me who you are, tell me the name of your business, tell me what you do, tell me something clicky about it, tell me the geographic area that you serve, and how do I find you?
Okay.
So,
Alright.
and phone numbers are usually, at this point in time, no one really uses them anymore. I don't even know my own phone number anymore. Like, we just don't do that. It's just hit a button. But socials is kind of where we're found. So yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you both very much.
Great stuff, Michelle. I'm really happy. Great work. Keep it up. Again, practice in front of your cat, your dog, significant other, your mirror, in the car, in the shower, whatever works for you.
Okay, thank you.
Susie had raised her hand. Are you still interested,
Yep.
Susie?
Susie definitely is.
She's. Can't hear you, dear.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Good. Okay. So I have not started a business yet. So I'm kind of just gonna make a fake one up and go ahead and give you guys the elevator pitch. Okay. I'm Susie. I'm the owner of Lash On, which is an e-commerce business. I sell waterproof eyelash glue. I'm based out of Las Vegas and can be found on Instagram at Lash On and on Amazon.
Susie Q, that is fantastic. Get
Thank
your
you.
business started. Go into Squarespace. Go put it up there. Go get online tomorrow. Seriously,
Okay.
Squarespace.
Yeah.
It's free. You can
Squarespace.
literally be online and selling tomorrow. Tonight, if you really, it's only 4:17, right? No, actually, you're still in the middle of the afternoon. You can be doing business tomorrow.
It's 3 here. So, I mean, is that like drop shipping, or if I have my own product and just advertise on there and then sell through there?
What do you want to do?
I haven't figured that part out yet. Yeah. So,
Okay, well, if I asked you, could you get a case of glue tomorrow?
I mean, I would figure it out.
No, could you? Like, how much would that cost?
Oh, you mean financially? Would I be able to go buy it or something?
Yeah.
Like, do I have the means to? Yes, I could.
Okay, so if you could technically buy a case of product and you can go into Squarespace tonight and get that up and running. So basically, we're at a point to where there is really nothing stopping you from starting this business that you think is vaporware right now.
Okay. I hear what you're saying.
I mean, because here's the deal. When I teach this program a little too often, Allie's sick and tired of my voice. I think she hears it in her sleep and starts kind of cringing. The number one thing that stops people is just taking that first step. I don't know what to do. You can literally go onto Squarespace, sign up for a site, put in your banking information. If you know where to get a case of product and you can start doing it, it becomes catchy and contagious, and you'll figure out really fast whether or not you actually want to do this or not.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at, because I'm not really interested in selling eyelash glue, but I did want to kind of participate in this class so I can get ideas and get just some practice, I guess. So Squarespace, got it. Thank you.
And timeless. And again, great stuff. Great stuff.
I guess Quincy. What do you think, Josh? You see Quincy's got his hand raised?
Kirsten is first. Kirsten is first, and then we'll go see Quincy.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Certainly can.
Okay. I also haven't started a business, but I have had some education in natural therapeutics. And what came to mind at first was like natural remedies and oils, and then furthering my education and developing the company as I further my education to like an ongoing project. And so I did an elevator pitch for the company that I'm planning on starting. And it goes, hi, my name is Kirsten, and I'm the CEO and founder of Nature for Nurture. Our mission is to provide our clients with a hands-on healing experience. We are passionate that you receive quality care tailored to heal and restore your life, becoming a gateway to abundance, offering experienced specialists and custom remedies to aid your stress relief. We're focused on helping you and assisting you during the healing process. So it's targeted to help with stress relief.
Okay, I love the fact that you don't mean you're learning as you go along. Let me ask you a question. Do you have a passion for what you're learning?
Yeah, I have a passion for helping people in a natural way so that it's actually, that's my goal, is to get people feeling good and feeling better. And to finance it, I'm going into sales as my career, and then this will be like a side
Okay,
thing together to support each other. This isn't my goal for just financial income, it's to help people mainly.
and we'll talk about this, I don't, maybe today or in another class, but having passion in your business is a huge, that's a great quote from Josh right there. And that's actually, hit that on that today. Having passion for your business, Kirsten, you'll see many very successful entrepreneurs started because they had passion. So,
Yeah.
you know, and what Josh mentioned earlier, don't wait for the perfect time to start the business, because that day never happens. There's never the exact perfect time. You just got to jump in at some point in time. Okay. Regarding the elevator pitch, it started to get a little bit long. And the person that you're delivering this to, you've got about 15 to 30 seconds at the very most. If it's me, it's 15 seconds. Most adults have a longer attention span. But if the person starts to check out, they're not listening anymore, and that's not what you want to do. So try to work on focusing that pitch to what you want that person to know about you in the business, and give them enough information to want to ask more questions.
Okay.
Turn it over to the master there chewing on something at Starbucks.
Hey, jealousy will get you everywhere, dude. I think Bill's right. It is a little long. My attention span's probably 15 seconds. That's generous for me. Sorry, I am terrible. I am really terrible. But I love, for a business that you don't claim to have, you have remarkable clarity about it. So as we discussed earlier, let us know your geographic area. Let us know how to find you. So I love what you're saying. It's clear and it's passionate. Just maybe take a second or two out of the description of the business. Tell me, hey, you can find this online at, and I think you're good to go. So just keep on working it. And I love it. You're on the right track.
Nature for Nurture, your star company for stress relief after a pandemic.
Well, there you go. There you go. Keep working on that. Practice, practice, practice. Quincy was first, and then we'll hear from Jason, and then we'll get into class.
Hello.
Howdy.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm awesome. I'm talking to Quincy. This is awesome.
All right, let's get this going then. All right, well, my pitch, I'm gonna start my pitch off. My name is Quincy Dawkins. I currently live in Las Vegas. I have a program called Stand On It. It's currently in Compton, California, where I work with at-risk teens and felons, reformed felons getting out of prison, where I help them with jobs. I help them reform into job development, help them with their skills. We also have a bounce house service. What's inside Stand On It is called Jump With Us. We have a scooter service. We provide scooter service, and we have clothes and merchandise.
Okay, so there's some to unpack here. First, let's just start off by, hey, I'm Quincy Dawkins, and I am with whatever the name of the company is. We help people coming out of we help young individuals, at-risk youth. We help people, returning citizens, whatever it is, coming out of, and we provide job counseling services for them. You can find us at whatever it is, whatever your socials are, whatever your contact is. That in its own world will be its own pitch. If you're going to talk about other services, you want to have different pitches for different purposes. So, because if you start talking about different things, you're going to lose me, and I'm not going to hear it. I'm not going to hear the bounce house. I'm not going to hear the other pieces to it. And I'm also going to get confused because I'm an idiot, right? You've got me for my 10 to 15 seconds. You're telling me about social justice, and then you're talking to me about bounce houses. I don't understand. Doesn't make sense to me. And it's not to say that you're wrong. No, not at all. It's not to say you've got a bad business. You've got a great business. It's just more a matter of your idea out of the 15, 20 seconds is to get a follow-up conversation. So when you're talking about that 15 to 20 seconds, it's almost like, well, what is your ask about your Reformation program? Are you looking for employers willing to participate? Are you looking for donations? Just kind of embed that in there so that in 20 seconds, you've got the wherewithal or the framework to ask a basic question, to have a basic request of somebody. And then once you get into talking, look, I own an apparel business, but really I'm in the second chances business. Oh, and by the way, I also do accounting consulting because I used to be a CPA. And also, by the way, I also do lounge piano work because I'm a musician too. But when I give you my pitch, I'm talking about my lead position and I talk about apparel. I could also say I'm an instructor with Inmates to Entrepreneurs. Inmates to Entrepreneurs is an organization that teaches returning citizens the basic skills to start a business. You can find us at Inmates to Entrepreneurs on Facebook. I've got 7 different pitches that I just threw at you for the same Josh. But when I started this class, you only heard me talk about apparel. Once I get beyond the apparel gate door and we get into talking, you may or may not find out more about my life, about the other things I'm involved with. But my goal is to try and get you hooked in a conversation within the first, call it 30 seconds of our conversation.
The only thing I would add to that, Quincy, is I believe you mentioned you're in Las Vegas, but then you mentioned Compton. And that
Yes.
confused me a little bit.
With the teens, I just threw a basketball tournament with at-risk youth at the Boys and Girls Club in Compton, California. And I live in Las Vegas. So I run my bounce house service in Las Vegas. And I actually work with the at-risk in Compton because that's where I'm from. So I try to work with the teams that actually really need me because it doesn't really have that much stuff going on like that in Las Vegas.
So then is your service, you can cover any geographic area with your service. Is that a true statement?
Yes, sir.
So you can say, although we're based in Las Vegas, we work in Compton and other geographic areas, something to tie that in, because I got confused with the relationship with Vegas. So the reality is while you live in Vegas, you can deliver your services anywhere.
Yes. Yes.
So you can reference Compton, but try to squeeze in there again in that 15 to 25 seconds that your services or what you provide are open there's no geographic boundaries.
Okay. Thank you.
Keep it up. I love what you're doing and I love the mission that you're on too.
Thank you.
All right, let's go over here from Jason.
Where'd he go?
Did we lose him?
Can you hear Jason?
I cannot. Jason, you are unmuted. Can you try and maybe reconnect your audio, or you may have to exit Zoom, come back, and then we can try and get to you towards the back end. It may be just like a connection to the audio. That's the problem.
All right, let's hear from Julian while we're working that out, and then we'll hop in, and then we'll get Jeff on the end.
Hey, how y'all guys doing?
Doing good.
All right, so my pitch. So this is something that I usually say to people when I meet them, the first time meeting them. So I say, hey, what's going on? My name is Julian Miller. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm based out of Boston, Massachusetts, and the name of my company is Constant Elevation. What I do is I bring value to students. I go to high schools and colleges and, share my story with them. Just to give you a little background on my story, I'm a recovering heroin addict, and I did 8.5 years in the Feds for unarmed bank robbery. And I'll leave it like that, and then just to get some feedback from them.
Just 2 thoughts for you. First is, as you're delivering your pitch, this is a nit here for you. Try standing a little bit more still, because like you're swaying back and forth as if you're a little bit on the nervous side.
Right.
So And this is a really just a ticky-tacky thing for me to reference for you. But because one of the sensitive things around, if you're a motivational speaker, one of the key highlights is I've got my stuff together and I'm confident. And if you're swaying and you have a level of nervousness about you, that might be a little off-putting for some. But I love what you have to say. And I think if you wrote it down a little bit more, I think you can make that a little bit tighter. No, hi, I am Julian. I am a motivational speaker. The name of my business is X. I am a recovering heroin addict. I did serve some federal time, and I work with children and other at-risk youth in the community. And today I'm looking to make connections with colleges, universities, and high school students. You can find videos of me speaking at YouTube/Julian and close it there. This is better than last week. I love where you're coming along with it. You sound more confident. And
Absolutely.
again, my stuff is ticky-tacky, so we're going to be a little bit, I'm raising the bar on you.
Right.
Sorry.
No.
So I will.
Sorry, I like that. I like that. Don't sorry. That's just constructive criticism, and I love it. I love it.
Right. So you're on the right path. And that's why, like no one else, I'm not fussing anybody's shops around how they're showing up visually, but I love what you're doing. I think it's just sequencing that 30-second pitch a little bit more. And that 30-second pitch, as we discussed last week, should sound an awful lot like the opening to your presentation overall.
Absolutely.
And
also I took that into consideration with the 3 things a day. I did that, man, and I made progress with that, and I appreciate you for that that information you gave us, you know.
It's an honor and privilege. You know, I'm submitting I'm working on a grant with the state of California to get some subsidy money for my mission, which is helping folks get a job. And in bold letters on top of my business plan reads, "Nothing stops a bullet like a job." Now, when I got feedback from the project coordinator from this grant provider, he flat out told me, I didn't need to read the rest of your plan. You said everything I needed to hear in your opening sentence. And he said, based upon that, you are at the top of the list, and I'm going to make sure that you get this money right away.
Oh, wow.
So don't underestimate the impact of your first words in terms of capturing an audience's attention, especially if your day job is being a motivational speaker. Now, selfishly, I'm in the apparel space. Eventually, at some point in time, I see myself joining you on the lecturing circuit, talking to lawyers and other uptight folk like HR executives who are hesitant to hire people with our common conviction history. And basically lecturing them about how I make it work and how they're doing it wrong overall. So I understand where you're going with this and the need to get somebody's attention out of the gate. Yeah, so hey, I'm a recovering heroin addict and I'm here to try and help you from becoming one. I'm here to help intervene with at-risk youth. Something that's, smack across the face about why you're here and what you are doing to make things better. You are in Boston, Massachusetts. You are not in the middle of the country. Your direct nature will not be off-putting where you are in this country. Meaning, like if you're in Chicago, you might have to be a little bit more soft-spoken about it. You might have to pussyfoot around it. Boston, New York, DC, you can be really upfront saying, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm here. Let's talk.
Well, as a person in Chicago, I would say what Josh's, the way he laid it out, you're a motivational speaker, and then put up your credentials as to why should I listen to you? And you do. I'm a recovering heroin addict, and I spend time in the federal system. In Chicago, that grabs somebody's attention right away.
Yeah.
I like the way he presented that. And I would recommend using that, because then it's like, okay, wow, this guy's been through some stuff. Then you lay out who you help and who you get in front of. Because there's a lot of motivational speakers out there, Julian, but there's not a lot with your background and your expertise, and there's not a lot that have overcome what you've overcome.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Bill's a good man. He's a very, very good man.
Yeah, that's deep.
I got to pay Josh a lot to say that. So just so we're Clear.
He pays me in apparel. Okay, so let's get into our slides here. Allie, let's go head it up here because yeah, otherwise, I love that we're hearing from so many people. I love that we're hearing from so many people. Okay, how to come up with your business idea. The goal of starting your business. You're starting your business here ultimately to improve your life or match your lifestyle. Yes. Let's be direct here. When you start your own business, whether it's your own business and that is your sole source of income, or you've got a full-time job and this is incremental, this is not for the faint of heart. If you wanted money for nothing, you have come to the wrong class. This will not teach you how to do money for nothing. So when we say lifestyle, it's a matter of establishing a pathway to getting a lifestyle that you enjoy. Earlier today, I was talking with an inmates to entrepreneur grad, and we were talking about that it could take 3 years to achieve the business that he seeks. Pretty cool that he can realize his vision over the course of 3 years. But this is not a quick hit. You are planting seeds to harvest fruit to come later on. And the other thing is ultimately, yeah, we want to make money. And I haven't heard it on this particular cohort. Oftentimes we have a bunch of folks that are trying to just run a bunch of nonprofits. Let's be honest. You're here to make money. Let's make that okay. Entrepreneurship is about making money. If you wanted to just make a nonprofit income, cool, you can do that. Yeah, you can do that. No thanks. So yeah. They're generally speaking 3 types of businesses. Service businesses is when we're doing something for somebody else. It's usually a time for money thing, meaning that I am going to get paid to save you time. Last mile delivery, so that's a delivery service, Uber. House cleaning, lawn care, house painting, babysitting, plumbing-ish, electrician-ish. Then you have a product-based business where we're selling food carts, a product. We've got Susie's business where we're selling eyelash glue and things of that sort, where you're actually having a tangible physical product that you give. And then we go to the next slide. And then you could have a blended service. So oftentimes cable installations, when I'm doing carpentry work, where I'm doing cabinets, I'm hanging cabinets, massage oils, haircuts, hair products. Businesses, they're not always kind of nice and clear cut here. Yeah, you could argue that I'm in the apparel space, I sell product and do a service of putting ink on it, but for the most part, I'm in a product-based business. The factors in selecting your business is how familiar you are with that business. How comfortable are you with learning? Are you passionate about it? Bill spoke a few minutes ago about having a level of passion. You could sell anything if you're passionate about it. Really, you could sell anything if you're passionate about it. I mean, used car sales people have a reputation because they are super passionate about, and you look great in this car, and it's going to make you look great with this and that and all that. And you come home and you realize that you are driving a car that you can't afford, don't need, and not quite sure how you ended up here. Proven market is really helpful. This is really interesting because oftentimes in this class, I'll hear people saying, well, I don't want somebody to steal my idea. Well, that's helpful that your idea is that unique, but sometimes it's really helpful to just have somebody already having done this before, meaning that if I say I prepare taxes, every single person on this Zoom call will know exactly what it is that I do. It's a socialized job. If I turn around and tell you that I do some gizmo here and you don't really know what I'm talking about, I'm going to spend a lot of time trying to socialize why you need what I'm selling. I'm going to spend a huge amount of time telling you why this is so cool and why you need to give me your money. Sometimes it's easier, but for the most part, if it's a proven market, then it's like, hey, I'm here to go do your laundry. I'm here to clean your house. I'm here to clean your toilet bowls. I'm here to fix your faucet. I know what you do. I know what the value proposition is. I know what should cost me. It makes things easier to get in. It does. I don't need to dissuade people from just doing something crazy and out there, but you have to realize that when you're doing something that's out there, you are going to spend a lot of time on the sales site, as well as if this is a job that you're trying to do for under $1,000, and you're trying to incubate this business for under $1,000, if you're creating something from scratch, you're going to easily spend $1,000 just to buy samples and prototypes and all that sort of stuff. Which is why when I was talking to Susie, it's like, well, if you can access your product now from somebody else and you can mark it up 3 times and make a 3x return on each product you sell, well, then start tomorrow. What's the holdup? No big deal. Services that people don't like to do themselves. No one likes to clean their own toilet bowls. I don't care who you are. You can be the cleanest neat freak. No one likes to clean their toilet bowls. That's why people are willing to pay to make that problem go away. Most people don't like doing their taxes. People will gladly pay to make that problem go away. So those type of things, janitorial, laundromat, wash and fold service, Instacart, Uber, all those things. You're doing something for somebody that people don't like to do. And ultimately, if you can figure out a way to get things to make lives easier, cool. Northeast, we're looking at winter coming up. People don't like to shovel snow. It's cold. I'm old. I've gotten too old for this. Don't want to do it anymore. Those are businesses that are out there that have inherent demand where you don't have to explain to somebody what it is that you do. Last cohort that just concluded yesterday, there's a guy who's in the tow truck business, but as a stair step into it, he's just going to jumpstart people. He lives in Detroit. It's already wintertime there, and he's going to spend his days looking for people needing a jumpstart. Pretty straightforward. And it's, again, you're not spending a lot of time explaining to people what to do. It's okay to do what everyone else does. People, when I had my CPA business, people are like, well, what makes you different? I said, not an effing thing. Who cares? I'm one of 300,000 CPAs in this country. I'm in front of you. Do you trust me? You shouldn't, because I'm a felon guilty of embezzlement, but I'm in front of you and I'm going to save you a bunch of tax dollars right here, right now. And I'm actually a really good tax accountant, and I can make your problem go away, and you don't want to do it. So those are the kinds of things that you want to get in front of. The better the socialize the product, the easier your sales cycle is. This isn't masterfully done. When Steve Jobs introduced iPhone, which I might be dating myself here, but when Steve Jobs announced the iPhone, he's like, hey, we've got an MP3 player, we've got a personal digital assistant, and we've got a phone. And he keeps repeating those things over and again. I've got a personal digital assistant, a PDA, I've got an MP3 player, and I've got a phone. We're announcing 3 products today. I've got a PDA, a phone, and an MP3 player. And he says it over again, faster and faster, to say, today we are releasing iPhone. It's 3 devices in 1 unit. And that's kind of how he starts articulating something entirely new to the market that we had never seen before, in a way that we had never had seen it before. And he announced something that now everyone can't live without, but he did it in a way that, knowing that there was no real proven market for it, but each of those components, there was a proven market for phones, there was a proven market for MP3 players, and there was a proven market for digital assistants. He combined them in 1 device and did that to demonstrate that proven market, as opposed to something that's just so out there. Again, it's not to say that you can't do something crazy. It's just going to cost you a lot of time and money to communicate your message. Make sense? Bill, do you have anything that you want to add on this slide? And then if you could take the next one.
Yeah, I mean, just a brief overview of some of the things that Josh had mentioned. Regarding starting the business, many businesses have become successful by people that started doing something they have a passion for, or something they just enjoy doing. Again, Kirsten earlier mentioned that she has a passion for what she's learning for, and you get into that. All of a sudden, when you have a passion, work isn't work, it's something you enjoy doing, and you also become very efficient at it. You become very proficient at it, you become an expert. Regarding the service businesses and the product business, a service business is very easy, low cost, easy entry to get into. And most of us on here will get into a service and or product business of some sort. Regarding about factors in selecting the business, if you're passionate about something and you can think you can make some money at it to begin with, then do that. If you're familiar with an industry and you've been in that industry, then try that. And if to Josh's point a little earlier, if there isn't anybody offering something in the market, you may want to take a step back and say, why is that? Has the market missed it, or is there a reason for that? So we used iPhone as an example. Well, no, we didn't have that, so that was revolutionary, right? And that you do come across those instances. But what you want to be careful about is is there nobody doing this, and is there a reason why nobody's doing it? And if through your research, which we'll talk about, if through your research you find out, yeah, I think there's demand for this, then go for it. I think that's about it on that page. That's all I have to answer. So getting ready to launch. We touched upon this. Jason has a hand raised. Do we want to hit that now, Josh, or do we want to wait? What do you think?
Let's hit it now. Let's address it. Yeah. Talk to us, Jason.
I think Jason may have his speakers maybe hooked up to something. Hey, are you there?
Does that work better?
A little better. Hit the sound. Hit the.
Okay. Let me see if I can hear you guys, but can you hear me?
About 50%. Yeah, go ahead, Jason.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure something out for next weekend too, I guess. But sorry, last week I had a few important things that were already set up for me before I knew about this class. And two, I'm just trying to get ahead, to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing to make my transition into starting with you guys, or what's going on. I'm supposed to make up a company.
Should we address this, Josh? What do you think? Should we address it?
So here, I'll give you the nickel tour, Jason,
Yes.
as well as Allie. Allie, can you send Jason last week's recording so that he can kind of get up to speed? You're only one session into this, Jason. And so last week kind of got the overview. Today, we're just going to talk about how to come up with the business overall. And then Allie will forward you last week's recordings that you can watch at your leisure. And if you have any questions whatsoever with it, by all means, reach out to me and I'll be happy to answer them. And I think you just dropped. Do we know if you?
He's over. He's there.
Okay, cool. And then we'll be able to catch you up to speed. If you want to meet up offline, just let me know and I'll be happy to schedule some time with you. We can just make that happen.
To do that, because I don't know what's going on with my system right now. Maybe I might just need to miss today and then try and get everything fixed for next week. I've never done Zoom since I moved to this new place. So,
well, why don't you do this, Jason? Why don't you hang on here, follow what you can. You will get the recordings. I don't know that it makes sense for you to just drop arbitrarily. Just kind of get a sense of where we're at, what we're talking about, and then you can watch week 1, come back to this session, and then you'll be in great shape coming for week 3 next week.
Yeah, because I'm kind of like picking up half of what everybody's saying anyways. So
okay, well, if I'm not going to force you to stay here if you're not able to pick up because the audio quality.
I'm going to try. I want to figure this out, and I want to be able to do good in this. So
sounds good. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Good luck, Jason.
Okay, Alexander, what do you got? Alexander.
Oh, sorry, I was muted there. Am I giving you a business pitch right now, or am I just asking questions?
Question.
You tell me.
I do have a question. Question being is, how do you decide whether you want to do like DBA or LLC, and like legalities about that, and like where do I just go to the courthouse as far as that is to get that title on a business title, or?
Okay, so essentially, where are you physically located?
I'm in Michigan.
Okay.
Traverse City, Michigan.
We will go into legal entities in week 4, but the short answer to your question, my general preference is to stay a sole proprietor using a fictitious a fictitious business name as long as you can.
Well, I have two different businesses. I have one business being just a sale of a product, a certain product that I have for sale. And then I also have a business that's gonna have like legal backing and stuff for I'm gonna have to get grants as far as having like Michigan State Police help with the actual like legality end of the business. And so I'm not sure how I go about doing all that. As far
I mean,
as
getting the
licensed and
LLC is
stuff.
getting the LLC piece is easy enough. It's more a matter of oftentimes there are fees associated with it. So if I've got a choice of giving money and spending it on marketing dollars or giving the government my money, I'm going to choose my marketing every day of the week. So
Right.
that's kind of where I'm at. So my general preference is to hold off the LLC till I know I've got a business here that's legit and it's got legs.
Okay. And then should I still go with like a domain name and stuff for like patent that product if I'm going with the product thing prior to instead of doing like actual business?
Wait, can you say that again, please?
Should I head for patenting at least the product before I start the business, just so that I have all that and like in accordance before I actually get the business going?
You might want to consult with the lawyer as far as the benefits of a patent, what you're trying to do. And the reason for that is, firstly, the law will grant you first use case if it's something that's unique. The challenge with patents is that it costs you a bunch of money to get, and it will cost you even more money if you actually have to defend it, other than doing a straight cease and desist letter. So patents and trademarks and registration marks, sometimes that's a false sense of security because the requirements to actually really do it the right way can be cost prohibitive given the typical economics of the student that comes through here. It's not to say that you shouldn't do it. It's just more a matter of, hey, it could be a lot of money for not much protection until that you actually have to file a lawsuit to actually protect your intellectual property. It's like,
right.
If you think about it, Apple, Walt Disney Company, Samsung, their IP teams are in court every single day defending IP. You don't have that budget. So you got to think through, is my product really necessary to be protected right now? Or can you spend a little bit of time getting a little bit of legs to get a little bit of revenue in the door, get the patent kind of paperwork ready to go, file it when you can, and then have it make sense.
Right.
Again, my general sense is get a minimally viable business first and then worry about the legal stuff a little later. But you know what? I could be wrong. Talk to a lawyer about it and get their opinion as far as how much would it cost for them to get things done and protected on the patent side. But don't be naive in terms of when you think about how much it costs to actually protect that IP. It can be very, very expensive. So what I mean by very expensive, if you've got to go to trial, it's $100,000.
Jeez.
And
and I'm that's twice the amount of startup for my entire company. Like
that's exactly my point. That's exactly my point. Where it's like, start off with something you are protected by having the first use case of a business. Like if you're the first one who has a dingle hopper and no one else had a dingle hopper, it's like, okay, well, you've time-stamped, hey, I created the first dingle hopper. If someone's going to steal that idea out from under you, you could sue under first use case scenarios. But the reality is, well, like you can spend $10,000 getting a patent on your product, and that's 20% of your money. Get yourself a minimally viable product.
So say this decision of just like probably just let it lie is not is less of a risk than actually putting it into the mix. And but is it possible to like this whole Facebook? This is a rumor. Correct me if I'm wrong. They say that you can actually trademark your something by posting it and using it as a post on Facebook. You can set a certain setting to actually have it like legitimized so that if somebody tries to steal that idea, like say somebody puts like a phrase like live, laugh, love, and they put it on their picture on Facebook, they can actually
going back to Josh's point, Alexander, that may be true, but you're going to end up in court.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So while it may be true, you can, and if a big company with deeper pockets takes your idea, they're just going to bury you in legal fees.
Right.
So.
Yeah, definitely. Truth in the matter sucks, but
And
Yeah, I
every-
hear you.
Well,
I appreciate the advice.
yeah, I mean, Alexander, I'm going to close this and then we got to get back to materials here because we got 8 more
Yes,
slides
yeah.
and all that. But I'll close it on this point. Get some revenue in the door. Nothing solves problems like revenue, and then you'll worry about how you protect it later on. The short answer to what you say, posting to Facebook is the modern day equivalent of taking a record. If you cut a demo deal, put it to the mail and mailed it to yourself, it validates the first use case. That's what we're talking about. It's an independent way to timestamp that you had your idea at a particular moment in time.
Okay.
But Bill's right. At the end of the day, if someone turns around and steals your idea and makes millions off of it, you got to go to court. And do you have the wherewithal to do that? And the answer to that is probably not.
Right.
Okay. Let's keep
right.
going here. Let's go to the next slide. And I think Bill, you're
Ready to
doing the-
launch. I would encourage everybody to stay around to the end because Josh is going to explain to us what a Dingelhofer is. And then he's going to show an illustration of it. So stick around, everyone. This should be interesting. So should you keep your day job? This is one of the questions that many entrepreneurs wrestle with because you want to spend every waking moment with the business. But as Josh referenced earlier on, he's a mentor of Dingelhofer. That guy cracks me up. That it could be 2 or 3 years before your business is kicking off enough income to live off of. And one of the most frequent stumbling blocks for new businesses that cause them to fail is people have to give up on it 6 months, 9 months into it because they have bills to pay. So starting something on the side and keeping your day job to pay your bills, that's, there's no shame in that. And in fact, what it allows you to do is make good decisions, not because we tend to make very bad decisions when we're under stress. And nothing creates more stress than being short on bills. So what you want to do is make sure you can pay your basic necessities. If you haven't gone through a budget, I would encourage you to go online and look at budgeting. So you don't even need software. There's free work out there that you can. Would you guys stop with that? I'm laughing at all your stuff back and forth. You put a shiny object in front of me and it's like a squirrel seeing a nut. I'm going to go off. So, but what you want to do is create a budget. Is what is it going to cost you to live each month, or what does it cost you to live each month? And you got to include all your fixed and variable expenses. And if your business isn't going to start kicking off anything close to that in the beginning, you better keep your day job and do that on the side. If you have a partner or significant other, you have to sit down with them and explain and manage expectations as to what to expect. So what are some of the things to expect? They're going to see a lot less of you. And that's going to be something you need to communicate on an ongoing basis with them, because you're going to be working most likely, and you're going to be doing this. It always costs twice as much and takes more than twice as long on anything you're going to project. So when you put a business plan, you think in 6 months or 12 months, I can be making this and it's going to cost me this. If you realize that it's most likely going to cost you more and take longer, that's going to help you on the budgeting side. But getting your partner's buy-in and your significant other early on is going to work to create less stress for your life. A mentor is very important in anything you do in life. And a mentor can be a family member whose decisions or whose thinking you trust. There's nothing wrong to going to somebody in your business or the industry you're in and looking to them to be a mentor. You'll be shocked as to somebody that's been successful, how happy they are to help share their expertise and their ideas with other people. Not everybody, but use them as a sounding board. If it isn't somebody in the business, somebody that you admire with what they've done business-wise. It could be an accountant. Accountants are used very frequently as mentors because they're very analytical thinking. They look at the numbers, they kind of remove the emotions from them. So find a mentor, and it's okay to have more than one. It can be a mentor that helps you with your personal life and what you're doing at home and how you're managing that. And it can be a mentor on the business side. Develop a product or a service. So if you don't have you need to have an idea of what it is you're going to offer. And again, what you want to do in your research, you want to make sure that what you're offering, there's going to be demand. Now, again, if you think you've stumbled across something that nobody's ever done, you may be onto something, but there also could be the possibility that nobody's offering it because there's nobody who wants it. So I'm in the Chicagoland area. It's the end of September. We will start getting snow in December. If I want to start a lawn care business in November, chances are not a lot of people are going to want that. Okay. If I want to start a snow business, removal business in the summer, chances are there's not going to be a lot of demand for that. I mean, I'd be the only one doing it, but there wouldn't be a demand for it. So when you want to develop your product or your service, and this goes into researching the market, is do something that you think you're good at, something that nobody else wants to do, something that you have a passion for. So let's say it's janitorial services. Chances are you don't have a passion for cleaning somebody else's toilets or vacuuming their floor, but people don't want to do it. And if you have a passion for, say, good service, that really separates a lot of the competition in a service-driven market, is when you offer good service. And again, we're touching on things that are going to be brought up in later sessions. A business partner. There's pros and cons to having a business partner. One of the greatest bit of advice I got when I was starting my own investment firm was, when you go into business with somebody, be prepared to go into business with somebody that you have no problem suing at some point. I know that sounds rough, and that's like, it's like going into a marriage, being ready to marry somebody you're gonna divorce. But things happen in business. The pros of having somebody in business is you may have somebody that complements your skills. So if you're really good at selling, about the partnership, I'm having second thoughts. It took you this long, Josh? The pros about having a business partner, they may complement what you do. So maybe you're really good at sales and they're very good at servicing or technical or the follow-up, or maybe, maybe vice versa. It's a sounding board. It's somebody that you have a common goal together. And I'm going to stop reading those. Just stop it. Allie, would you put him in a timeout, please? So you have
Bill, I've already been in timeout for 6 months.
Yeah.
Not going back, not doing that again.
It's not working, group. So you can supplement your knowledge. You have a sounding board, and almost as important is you have somebody you can combine your resources. Those are all pros. Why would you not want to have a business partner? There's going to be disagreements. How do you figure things out? And there can be confusion of leadership. One of the things I forgot to mention early on is, if you have a partnership, the first thing you have to do is have your responsibilities written out. If you don't have the responsibilities written out, here's what happens. When a disagreement comes up, you're going to remember it in a way that favors you. They're going to remember it in a way that favors them. If you have 50-50 ownership, now you have a problem. So you want to get everything in writing early on. And I know it may seem harsh. Like, oh, we're good friends. We're on this, we have the same passion. Something's going to come up along the way. How do you pick your business partner? Well, integrity, of course. You're hoping you're finding somebody that has a same level of integrity as you do. I mentioned they complement your talent, not supplement. So if you're both good at sales, but if you're both very bad at follow-up, or both very bad at the paperwork, or both very bad at the financial side, that's going to cause problems. So you want somebody that you're going to be a good team together. One person is good at this, one person's good at the other. You also want to make sure that they're going to work as hard as you do. Again, early on, it's kind of like when you're dating. Early on, he cleans up after himself, he washes the dishes, he takes out the garbage. But at some point in time, that may end. So Josh mentioned, have a lawyer to review the agreement. Both of you have a lawyer to review the agreement, or maybe you both pick somebody. Because if you review the agreement with an attorney and he doesn't, that again could cause issues. Then there's the issue of determining financial compensation. If you're on the sales side and your partner isn't, and you're bringing in deals, are you going to get more because you brought in the deals, or is it split 50-50? Again, that's part of the agreement that you go into. Maybe it is a 50-50 split. The last and final is, how do you buy each other out? Assume it's not going to work out. Okay. And again, we're just trying to help you protect yourselves. So in that agreement, if somebody wants out, what does that look like? Because if you're partners for a while and your income starts out low and over 6 months, 9 months, a year, 2 years, now you're doing well and the partner wants out, what do they get and how does that work out? Do you have to buy them out right now? Does it happen over a period of time? Again, spell that out in advance so that it reduces any causes of misconception or misunderstanding. Let's see, I'll hit a couple more, then I'm going to have Josh do the review on this. So it's important to have everything in writing. I can't stress that enough. I guess with that, I'll just return it over to Josh because I've hammered the getting in writing standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I think we've covered all of this sort of stuff. Yep. Let's go to the next slide. Getting ready to launch. Please get the permits and licenses you need. The really cool part about this is we've already gotten in trouble. Let's not have an unforced error. Please get the permits and licenses you need to operate. Oh, it costs money. Yeah, I know. So does the cost of remediation if you're not doing it right. We're going to talk about a business plan. Now, I've heard business plans and I've written business plans that are huge. I've written triple-digit page business plans. Let's try and keep this to 1 page. A 1-page business plan should be all that you need for you. Identify the capital you need. How much money is it going to take you to get this get up and running? The truisms here is that it'll take you twice as long and require twice as much money. And the reality also is no business is ever well capitalized. Let me say that again. No business is ever well capitalized. Each and every one of you will turn around and say, I need more money. No, you don't need more money. What you really need to do is break it down simpler. Let me say that again. You do not need more money. You need to break it down simpler. Think about what we were talking with Susie Q a little bit before. My comment to her was, do you have the money to buy a case of product? The answer was yes. I could send her to Shopify, 2-week trial, $40 a month, or I can send her to Squarespace and have it done for free. Find ways to get things done for less money, start smaller, and work over time. Everyone thinks that tomorrow you can wake up, be a millionaire. And yeah, theoretically it can happen, but the reality is that things take time. And if you build yourself a strong foundation, you will make better choices and your business will be built to last. It will be sustainable versus if you have $1,000 and you spend $1,000 on inventory, guess what? You just spent the money that you had. So much for your dry powder. You're now no better than you were yesterday, other than you're $1,000 poor. Take your time. Technologies. What are the technologies you need? Need means you can't live without. Need does not mean, oh, wow, it's really cool. Let me go spend a bunch of money on X. Stop that. Keep in mind of do this on bare bones. What is it that you need to launch? I have Shopify, which is pretty darn cool, but I will frequently reference my calendar in here. I use OneSub, that's free. I use Google Suite for my Gmail, so it's personalized. That's $6 a month. Not that expensive. I had a company call me yesterday offering IT support. I don't need IT support. I've got a MacBook. I can go to the Apple store if I need IT support. Like everyone and their mother wants to sell you something. Don't buy. Know what you need to do. And my guess, my personal thing is, if I think I need something, I will write it down and I'll revisit it in 2 weeks and say, do I actually still need this? I came out of this when I talked to my son, who's like, I need to have this game. I need to have this, blah, blah, blah. I say, you know what, kiddo, if you still feel this way in 2 weeks, I'll buy it for you. 9 times out of 10, he forgets about it because it wasn't that important after all. The professional services you need to launch, you should consult with an accountant, a lawyer, and a banker, and insurance agent. That doesn't mean that you're giving them retainer money now. It means you're talking to them. Let's go to the next slide. getting your first customers. Marketing can be incredibly expensive, but you know it's not? Talking to each and every one of your friends. If I go back to Susie, sorry. If I go back to Susie and we're talking about her business. Susie, in the chat window, how many friends do you have? Can you just give me a sense of how many people are you friends with? Meanwhile, Susie's like, I don't like being put on the spot. Okay, let's just say Susie's got 200 gal friends that she can talk to about her product. That's 200 marketing leads straight out of the gate that she doesn't have to pay for. You can go to Staples, get for $34. I can get 1,000 business cards. Pretty darn cool. For $100, I can get probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 flyers at a minimum out of Kinko's. Ali just put into the chat window, Canva is her favorite marketing tool for creating free marketing materials. Nextdoor, Craigslist. These are all places you can go and start posting stuff for free. Facebook Marketplace, for free, to start getting the word out without having to spend a bunch of money. Branding versus direct response. Branding is when you start putting your name out there. Coca-Cola, Disney, they kind of put their name out there so that when you're ready to make a purchase decision, you'll think of them. Let's not do that right now. You don't need to. Marketing for a direct response is action now. I'm going to say, Bill, will you buy a shirt for me? And Bill will say, not only will I buy one, I will buy 1,000. I say, thank you, Bill. That is direct response marketing. I am looking to try and transact today. It's great to build a brand. It's great to build a story. That sounds wonderful, but I need money. I need to pay my rent. I need money, so I am going to look for direct response. Then we could think about Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Nextdoor, Craigslist. Depending upon what you're doing will depend upon which of these strategies are going to work. Facebook tends to cater to the older crowd. Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat tend to the younger crowd. LinkedIn is the more professional crowd. Twitter caters to Elon Musk. Nextdoor is hyper local, as is Craigslist. So try them all. Why? It's free. Give it a shot. See which ones work. Not mentioned here, start talking to people at your church, your synagogue, anywhere where you show up, or anywhere where you think someone's going to buy your product. That's where you need to be.
The one thing I'll throw in there real quick, Josh, when you use Susie as an example and her 200 friends, if each of those women had 3 friends, let's assume they have more. Now what you've done is you may have exposed your idea or expanded your idea to 600 people. And if they each have 3 friends, now you're at 1,800 people. So the power of networking, we touch upon that at a later time when they're marketing. But every person you look at, if they're not going to buy from you or they're not in your need for your services, think about who they know that may be in the need for your services or be a better prospect. So that's it.
Perfect. Hey, Bill, why don't you take the next one?
Hold on here. Where are we at here?
We're at other marketing strategies.
Oh, marketing can be expensive. Hold on a second here. Marketing strategies, other marketing strategies outside of the word of mouth. We just covered that, right? Business cards.
We're talking about website, email campaigns.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't know where you ended up. Okay. A website, you can get that for free now, or very low cost. You can do that. Is what you're offering, somebody going there, is that going to be a difference maker? If you can do that through social media today, you can get by without a website. A lot of people like going to a website to see that you have a product, but again, today with services or what you're doing, because of the advent and the advance of social media, you can really get away with having not putting in a website. Email campaign, constant contact. There's a lot of opportunities out there to get your name in front of people. So let's say you're offering a cleaning service and you're calling on an industrial, you're doing commercial and industrial. a lot of those people will tell you no at a certain time because maybe they're under a contract or they're happy with their current provider. But if you get on an email system with them and you can use, there's HubSpot is free. They eventually want to sell you add-ons, but you can get away with a lot with just using, is one that I've used, is HubSpot. Staying in front of them on a maybe quarterly basis with an email campaign. And it can be something very simple. It can be something, just say, hey, how you doing? We met 6 months ago. Are you still are you looking to rebid your cleaning services? Because what's going to happen is they're going to forget about you. And then if your email pops up, all of a sudden, now they have you top of mind. I don't know if the real estate agents are still using it, but it was very popular for years to give the magnets you put on your refrigerator with the realtors or the insurance agent's name. And what happens? You're not using it, it's on there, it's holding your kid's artwork up on the refrigerator. And all of a sudden, 3 years later, you're going to sell your house, or your insurance agent retired, or they really ticked you off. And there's this insurance agent's name is on the refrigerator. You call that person. So out of sight, out of mind, and anything you can do that that you can stay in front of somebody and stay top of mind. I currently use in my business email programs where something goes out once a quarter. It can be an industry, it can be something I wrote, it can be an industry related article. A strategical, radio, TV, and magazines can be extremely expensive. And what we're looking at right now, and with the budgetary issues, that may be something that you do a little bit later on. The one thing I missed is word of mouth. How many of you have been in the market for a service or a product, and one of your friends or family members mentioned, hey, I got this from this person and I was very happy with it? Or I bought this here and the person that helped me was fantastic. You look at statistically, referrals, they close at about 90%. So how do you get word of mouth? You ask for it from when you're speaking with somebody. If they're not looking for your service right now, who do you know? That could be, it may be looking for motivational speaker services. Do you know an industry? Do you know an organization that may be looking for somebody to speak to their people with my background? That would get you an opportunity. Josh mentioned Yelp. Yelp is a double-edged sword, because you can have a lot of people happy with you. Somebody's having a bad day and they use your service or product and they go out there and they take it out on you. Unfortunately, that is part of that process. Business cards, when Josh and I got in business, you had to have a business card. You had to have somebody hand something to somebody. Today, not as necessary. They're so cheap to get printed, though. It would make sense when you're out and you're talking to somebody, you hand them something. On your card, it has all your various social media contacts and how to get a hold of you. So to not spend the money on business cards really is save the money, get the business cards is what I'm saying. Because if we're in line and you give me your elevator pitch and boom, you hand me your business card, you may have told me it, but now I have it in writing. And what you can also do on a business card, I was at a trade show today. I will meet somebody and they'll share with me some interesting points. I'll write that on the back of one of my cards, and then I'll have that for later. And now I know what we talked about it at that meeting. How and where to get them. Josh could probably be better at where to how and where to get them. I have somebody that actually takes care of that at the business. Josh, help us out here.
Staples is awesome. $34 1,000 cards, easy.
Yeah. There you go.
We can go down the list here on your own. We're kind of short on time, so why don't we go?
Okay.
Just be mindful that you've got all kinds of different places to go. Thank you, Curran. Why don't you share that for the rest of the group too? If you've got if you want to, Curran, if you could just put that link into the rest of the group. Thank you so much. So, in addition to doing a business plan that Ali had put into the chat window before, check out this marketing plan here. It's pretty simple. Think about who's your customer. Where do these people exist? What is your offer? Why should they buy your stuff? And how can they order? Put yourself into your customer's shoes, your clients' shoes, your customers' shoes. Who are they? How do you find them? Oh, where do you find them? What is your offer? Why should they buy? How do they order? My customer, one of my segments are schools. Schools buy shirts and a lot of them. How do I find them? Very easily. School districts. What is my offer? I sell shirts. Cool. Why should they buy? Well, I've got a great price, a great product. I'm willing to have no minimums. I'm willing to go on site and do delivery at school. I'm willing to curate their collections on my website. And how do they order? Hey, call me. These are ways you don't have to spend a lot of time on this, but having the clarity of writing it down lets you know where you're at. Because when you're an entrepreneur and you're sitting there saying, no one's sitting there telling you, call so-and-so. No one's doing that. So it becomes really important to say, I don't have any business today. Well, where are you going to find your business? Well, so if you're going to, well, if I'm trying to sell the Domish schools, well, okay, well, I can call PTA presidents. Once I know I've got to call PTA presidents, I can pull down the list and start calling PTA presidents. Suddenly, it's not vaporware. I have talked to so many aspiring entrepreneurs that just sit around all day long saying, I'm frustrated, I haven't made any progress. I'm like, well, where's your task list? Do you know what you're doing? Do you have a plan? No. Well, if you don't have a plan, what do you expect? It's not to say that you're going to follow the plan religiously. You won't. But when you have a plan, you have a guide that says, this is where I need to be. And that you're not constantly thinking about the same thing over and over and over and over again. What's my offer? I sell shirts. What's my price? $450. Okay, done. Let's not have the same conversation over again. When I think of Julian, who's a public speaker, Julian, what's your cost? I charge $1,000 for a speech plus travel and meals. Okay, perfect. Who's my customer? It's churches, synagogues, at-risk youth programs, re-entry programs, colleges, universities. Why should they buy me? I'm cheap. I'm an inspiring guy. How do they order? Find me on Instagram. These are the things that you need to have yourself to go. And Jeff, we talked last week in this class specifically about creating a list every day to do 3 things to advance your business. So part of it's a schedule, part of it's a task list to kind of keep you on focus. Can we go to the next slide there, Allie? This is a break-even analysis. Rather than going through the numbers here, it's just more a matter of saying, if I spend for marketing dollars, you got to realize if I spend $100 on marketing and my product costs me 100 and I sell it for 100, I'm not making any money. So the principle being here is if the cost of advertising is $100, if I sell something for $50, but it costs me $40 to make it, I'm making $10 per sale, right? I spend $100 to get sales. I'm making $10 per. I need to have 10 sales to make sure I've covered my marketing cost and my product cost. And then ideally, if your conversion increases, then you make more money. Spend some time on this on your own. If you have questions, hit me up on the chat session. Can we go to the next slide here? And Bill, if you can take that.
Yeah, one thing to add on that is if you don't have a product, but you have a service, put a time value on your, put a value on your time. So if you don't say, if it doesn't cost you anything because it's a service, but what is your time worth? So don't discount what your time is worth. So break-even analysis, test each strategy for a short period of time. So what you want to do is you're going to fail. This is going to be tough, but you're going to fail more often than you succeed. That's the nature of trying something like this. But in those failures, you learn something and you improve and you progress. So you want to measure, I tried this. I tried a mailing campaign. I had 500 flyers written up and I went out and put those on cars, or I went out and attended a trade show. I went out and attended a craft, whatever it is. What was my time? What was my cost? And a lot of those events, you're not going to get customers right away. It may take a month, depending on what you're offering, it may take some time. But what you want to do is continually measure what you're doing. And you're going to find some things work fantastically well. And some things you're going to find that you thought it was great and it didn't. And that's okay. I mean, you look at some of the greatest basketball players ever to shoot, and they shoot less or around 50% from the field, which means they lose, they miss 50% of the time. There was somebody threw up, you want to have several strategies, but what you want to do on that is separate those so you know where the business is coming from. Is this direct marketing? Is this through, maybe you set up a strategic alliance with a complementary business? So you want to find out where your business is coming from, because if you don't, what's going to happen is you're going to be spending time in areas that give you very little return on your time and on your investment. And your time and money is an investment. I think we can go to the next slide, Allie.
Okay, so I'm sorry that we're kind of rushing through the home stretch here. Think about everything around marketing is going to be test, measure, repeat, adjust, all that kind of stuff. So pick 3 marketing strategies that you want to try over the next week. It's important to also have to not just try them, measure the results. Hey, I met 3 people from this meeting here. What happened? I met 3 people here online for Facebook marketing. And start gauging the results of where you're spending your time versus the outcome, and complete that marketing break-even analysis for your proposed business. And Bill's right, make sure that you do assess the value of your time and certainly the effort on it. The last cohort I taught, we had a gal who was Los Angeles centric. She lived in downtown LA. Theoretically, she could go to the West Side, but it's 45 minutes each way. If she's not cleaning houses, she's not making money. So kind of keep that in mind. For next week, same time, same station, I will not be here. I will not be here. I forget who is, but I will.
It's myself and who else, Allie?
It's Bill and Gary.
Okay, cool. So I will join you again in 2 weeks, which is just awesome. I look forward to coming back. I put my information in the chat window here. If you want to schedule some one-on-one time, happy to do it. Bill, thank you. You're amazing. Allie, you're amazing. Allie's going to get the recordings out tomorrow, especially to those that have joined us late. Yeah. The coolest part about marketing, though, is treat this as a science experiment. I think that this could work. Give it a shot. Craigslist, hey, wow, see if it works. Nextdoor, see if it works. Be okay with having it be wrong. Be okay with checking things out, and then see where you go from there. And with that, I'll turn it over back to you, Allie. And Bill, thank you so much. It was great to see you again.
Yes, same here, Josh. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Josh. Thank you so much, Bill. We appreciate you volunteering your time and your energy and your resources towards this, towards our organization and towards this 8-week course in particular. To everyone else, as Josh mentioned, we will be back on the same link next week. So that'll be next Wednesday. I think it's October 5th, 6 p.m. Eastern time. I'll send you all the recap emails tomorrow. Jeff, I saw your message. I'll add you to that as well. Also did want to mention, I know we have a lot of people in this class in the Southeast. I know Hurricane Ian is kind of wreaking havoc, so please stay safe. If you have to miss class, don't worry about it. Just message me when you can. You'll still be in class, don't worry. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you in a week, everyone. Thanks.